What's up, everybody? It's Brian over at Valkerion Gaming, and today I have a special video for you. I actually got a look at Phantom Blade Zero at TGS2024. I was able to play the demo with no time limit because the developers actually invited me to play the game through TGS's content creator program. So we're getting there. We're getting there. We got our first industry invite, which is pretty neat. But today's game is a little bit of Phantom Blade Zero. So the gameplay that you're going to see is the about 20 or so minute long demo that they have for the game that highlights the game's combat. This is a demo that basically focuses down on just kind of showing off what the combat is. It has a tutorial in it, it has a battle with a couple of minions, and then it just is basically a boss rush after that. It's basically, the main focus is just 3 bosses, and everything else is just kind of your warm up for the game and trying to get to terms with what the game is. So, like I said, I was invited to S Games booth, and their staff was really kind, and they let me and my friend play through the Phantom Blade Zero demo. And this is running on a PlayStation 5. It is a development build, so the footage isn't super high quality because the footage that we were able to capture was just directly taken from the PlayStation 5's capture functionality. So it is just like a 3, even though it's like 25 minutes long, it's just a 3 gigabyte video. So the quality isn't as high as you might hope, but it does kind of just, it is a really nice service that they just let us record our own footage off of the console like that. So that is pretty cool. And anyway, so Phantom Blade Zero is being made by S Game. That is the studio name, and I believe all of they've made before this were mobile games. So this is their first big console game, and they said they want to really make something that they enjoy. And that is something that I asked the developer, like, what inspired this game? And they said, I really like action kung fu content, and I also really like interesting, like, hardcore games that really ask you to engage with their mechanics and combat. And that's the kind of game that they're eagerly developing at the moment. So at a glance, I kind of wrote this game off, admittedly. No shade to the developers, but we've gotten so many Souls-like and Souls clones over the past few years especially, that Phantom Blade Zero is just a game that wasn't really on my personal radar. So when it was first revealed, I just kind of said, oh, that looks cool, but it's another Souls-like, whatever. We'll see when it comes out if it does anything special. And then the previews started going out, and I was like, you know what, this actually looks kind of cool, but we'll see. And then I actually got hands-on with it, and I can honestly say, this game is super cool. So first and foremost, it is not really Souls-like in its approach to combat. It is more Metal Gear Rising or Devil May Cry. It is character action first and foremost, and it is less Souls-like than I thought it would be. And that's a good thing, because I think a lot of games are not having their own personality because they're chasing the Souls-like formula. In this part, I should be switching over to my friend's gameplay. Yeah, so just kind of pause there for a little bit. We're just standing there discussing the controls. I'm just telling him what the buttons do and whatnot. My friend really loves Souls-like games, so he was like interested in trying this one out. And even though this one's combat is more action-oriented, it is definitely a game that wants you to go in and get in and stay engaged with your enemies. It wants you to fight. Phantom Blade Zero isn't exactly 100% like that. It does have a bit of that Souls-like element to it. It does seem to have a bit of lots of other character action games in its DNA. But it's also doing its own thing, which is pretty neat. So But yeah, like I said, it is definitely a combat-focused and oriented game, and I think you'll see here my friend's footage. He's so used to playing Souls-likes that he's just kind of trying to get to terms with the combat and like understanding that it's more about the parry and attack than just kind of staying away and dodging left to right and whatnot. But yeah, so the combat in this game works in a very easy to understand chain combo system of just using square and triangle. If I remember right, it doesn't seem like the circle button has any functionality. The X button is your jump and like contextual commands, but a lot of the combat comes down to just chaining your light attacks with square and then chaining your heavy attacks with triangle. And using them in certain combinations makes your character do interesting different combo strings and whatnot. The more attacks you get off, the stronger they become and whatnot. So if you look at the gameplay itself, you'll see the characters have the white is their HP and the yellow is kind of your, not exactly your stun meter. For enemies it's their stun meter, for you it's more of your meter that kind of dictates whether you'll be able to do like a big cash out attack as well as your stun. If it gets depleted, you get stunned as well. So but yeah, you can see just how flashy the combat is. It flows together really well, and I don't know how to explain it exactly, but it's like the kind of weapon clashing and parry and dodging animations in this game are just so smooth, and they feel very organic, even when you're attacking enemies or they're attacking you and you're just blocking or you're parrying and you're dodging. It all feels organic and it all looks organic, and I think that's the coolest part about it. It is such a flashy game. It kind of, when you're just looking at footage of it, it kind of doesn't seem like a human is playing it, but you are. Every attack you're seeing is a button being pressed. Every dodge you're seeing is a button being pressed. Every parry is a parry getting perfected. It is real. And I think that's what really impressed me about this game, and just like its aesthetic of Kung Fu Punk is what they call it, of just like really cool Kung Fu action and hardcore gameplay and pretty neat music as well, especially in the third boss. I think the music in the third boss is especially impressive. Yeah, this whole game is just a really interesting proof of concept almost, in that it feels like one of the first times I've played a Souls-like, and I'm using that very lightly, that is trying to do something different. It feels like a very good highlight, or maybe not highlight, but maybe it feels like a very good hybridization of the Souls and character action game tropes that we've been seeing in a lot in the last few years. It feels like an extrapolation of what maybe something like Neo was trying to do but didn't do, because it was more Souls-like in its approach. But yeah, you can see right here, like, my friend is kind of coming to terms with the parrying and the dodging mechanics, and he's just kind of going all out on this guy at this point now. So at first, like, when I first got hands-on with this game, I was struggling a bit to understand the parry mechanic and the dodging mechanic. Like, the timing of it didn't feel completely organic, but as I kept playing, it quickly became organic. It very quickly just kind of became second nature. Not to the point where I was doing it perfectly every time, but you just kind of felt out the timing and the reaction. Like, as you can see, my friend is like dodging like nobody's business in this fight right now. Like, he got the hang of it. He figured it out. He got the idea and the concept of what they were going for and how to use the system and the mechanics. And so when an enemy is in its like last bit of health, you get these really cool like flashy executions and whatnot too. But yeah, it's just a game that you kind of come to terms with pretty quickly. And just to go ahead with the third boss that you can see here, he's got that cool like head weapon that weapon that grabs onto your head and like rips it off in like all the kung fu and like cool like anime movies and whatnot. But each boss in the demo had a different set of weapons to be used. So this time for the third boss, you get I believe they're called chakrams, the bladed disc weapons, and a great sword. So it's pretty cool that you just get to mess with different weapon types. So just to explain the mechanics a bit more, so when you're attacking, the enemy's stagger meter, I think it's called Shachi, I think. I'm trying to avoid using the term exactly because I don't know Chinese pronunciation, so I don't want to butcher it too much. But when the enemy's gauge goes down, they get staggered for a quick second, not too long, which I thought was a little strange. The enemy gets staggered, but the stagger is very, very quick. But they do take a ton more damage after that phase. So, and then you can also see like there's instant kills in this game as well, which is pretty entertaining as always. But whenever your meter is full, you actually get access to kind of super attacks or like a cash out attack, and you can kind of see it a few times in the demo. I tried to remember everything from the tutorial, but also just kind of utilizing the mechanics in the gameplay, like using all the weapons, using the sub weapons, because there is sub weapons in this game, and just kind of trying to understand how everything works and just kind of figure out what is the combat plan in this game, and then that's what I kind of used this third boss for. So yeah, right there you can see I did like a big cash out attack. That was that big sweeping attack. So dodging and parrying perfectly refills your meter, your Shachi meter, or your stagger meter, as what most people are probably going to call it. And once you do like a chain of attacks, your weapon will glow red, or you block enough, it'll glow red. If you press L2, and that'll do like a big cash out attack. And the big cash out attacks do quite a bit of damage, and they're interesting for the greatsword. It is just like the big sweep. And I'm not sure exactly if it changes depending on like how far along you are in your combo. I think that's something I tried to experiment with and tried to notice, but I don't think it does at this point. And I also use it for the shotgun weapon, and it does a really cool like flurry of attacks, like jumps back and like juggles the chakram off the guy, so it's pretty cool. And you can also see I was using the some of the contextual stuff for the pillars in this stage. You can actually run and jump off the pillars, which is pretty neat. Yeah, I got close to beating him that time, but once again, I was just messing around with the weapons and whatnot, trying to figure out all the cool stuff, and trying to figure out where the sub-weapons fit into the combat puzzle. Trying to figure out, like, does the cannon do a lot of stagger? Is it just something that I should do at range? Is it something I should do mid-combos? So on and so forth. And yeah, just messing around with the combat and enjoying ourselves as we were playing it. Another cool thing about this demo was kind of how the booth was set up. S-Game had their booth for Phantom Blade Zero. It's just like a big square in the center of TGS, and the displays for the demo build was like in like a diagonal shape. So our demo station was right at like the rope where people were walking past. So people were like looking at our gameplay footage and looking at our screen and taking video of our screen as we were playing, because we had the best view to look at the game. And so many people were just like coming up behind us, and like you could hear them talking and like taking video and like, oh, this game looks super cool, and like just talking. And you know, if you've ever played a demo build at a convention, it's very loud. And the headphones and like the demo builds are not like private or anything, so you just kind of have to absorb everything around you as you're playing. But it felt pretty special to have literally a staff member walk up, look at the timer, because demos are usually timed, and just like turn it over, and everyone else has their timer set to 10 minutes. And you feel real special when someone just walks up and like turns the timer off. I'm just like, yeah. And then just having like the crowd like taking video of your gameplay and whatnot, it was pretty fun too. That was just, I don't know, a first time experience for me personally as a new content creator. Anyway, yeah, we just kind of keep messing around with this boss. We both kind of keep playing and keep struggling against this boss a little bit. I will say, Phantom Blade Zero is not, this demo build was not super difficult. I think if we kind of like locked in and paid a bit more attention to the demo and weren't swapping back and forth, I think we could have beat this demo in like 10 less minutes. We probably could have beat this demo in 15 minutes. But that's not fun, right? You want to get an idea of what the game is. You want to play it. You want to feel it. And in doing that, I think that made the game that much more appealing to me. And yeah, like I said, this was a game that was not on my radar, and it firmly is now. It feels very well refined and very well thought out in its ideas and its gameplay mechanics. You don't get full context of the stages in this gameplay demo. The developers said that they are definitely going to be taking inspiration, or at least they like the level design of things like FromSoft and whatnot, so that makes me very hopeful for the level design in this game. It's boding well for their bosses already. I think their bosses are very cool looking so far, and they're very flashy, and I think that is the coolest part about this game, is just how flashy it is. And it doesn't feel daunting to play. It doesn't feel inorganic, and it's just so impressive for something that is seemingly over a year away. I think they said they're targeting 2026 for a release of this game, actually. I think maybe they were targeting 2025, and it's looking like maybe 2026 might be the realistic date, but they basically said, yeah, we're not sure if it's going to be ready by 2026 or 2025, but we're just kind of grinding away at it, so we'll see. And I appreciate the candor of the developers right there. They're just like, yeah, it'll be done when it's done, basically. Another cool thing about the combat that I think I forgot to mention, or maybe I did mention it, I'm not sure anymore, is that weapon swapping is on a cooldown, so you can't swap weapons immediately, but you can combo into your weapon swap, which is a really neat thing. And I'm so mad, and I'm kicking myself because I forgot to ask the developer, what is the number under the weapon exactly? And I forgot to ask, and I'm so stupid for not asking. My friend asked me, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to ask the guy, but they were busy talking to someone else at the moment, and we were having so much fun with the demo that once the guy came back to talk to us, like, hey, how did you enjoy it? It's just like completely out of my brain at that point. Maybe it's the weapon cash out. I'm not sure exactly. I don't think it is that, but I don't know. But yeah, as you can see, Phantom Blade Zero, as you kind of get used to playing it, you just kind of get better and better at it, and you kind of have to adjust a little bit, because once again, it's not a Souls-like, it is a character action game first and foremost. In my opinion, that is the description I would give it. It's just with the Dark Souls, or the Souls-like FromSoft style camera angle. There's the word I was looking at. I got distracted by the gameplay. I was like, oh, that looks really cool. And that is just my overall impression. I'm talking in circles at this point, but Phantom Blade Zero is a very impressive gameplay demo. It was just 3 bosses, but I left completely enamored with where this game might go in the future. I hope this game has a smooth development, and I hope they keep showing it off, and I hope they keep impressing people. I do think there are some rough edges here and there. I think obviously the image quality on the demo build for PlayStation 5 is not great at the moment. It is a kind of a muddy looking game with like a lot of the effects and how like smooth the movement is. It's in development. It'll obviously get figured out. It does seem to be upscaled from like a lower resolution or something, and I think that is something that most demo builds have, so it's like whatever. I almost feel like it's not even worth mentioning, and I'm only mentioning it because this is PlayStation 5 footage, and they've been showing off PC footage as well, and PC footage looks a lot cleaner. So yeah, that is the end of the Phantom Blade preview demo that I got for this game. I really enjoyed playing Phantom Blade 0. It took us 25 minutes and 41 seconds, and our death count was 11. So yeah, we got through the demo pretty well for two people who were swapping back and forth the controller and just like talking about the game and really enjoying it. I think we did fine. But yeah, thank you to S Game Studio for giving me my first industry invite, and also just for being really nice, chill people and answering my questions and just being really chill and, I don't know, making a cool game. Thank you so much. Thank you to my friend Avi for joining me at TGS and convincing me to go in the first place, because I wasn't going to go. Thank you for joining me for the Phantom Blade demo as well, because I know he had stuff he wanted to go look at, but he's like, you know what, actually I want to go see this too, like let's go. And he really enjoyed himself too, so thank you again for that, bro. Thank you. This is going to be a little bit honest. Thank you for the people who are subscribing and liking the videos and leaving comments down below. This gameplay demo, this video right here, this invitation by S Game was kind of the first time it felt like this kind of side project of just making reviews and trying to emulate the reviewers that I like by playing games and talking about them to no one in particular on the internet. This feels like it's more than something I just like to do. It feels like something that I hope to continue to do. And getting an invite, an invitation, an industry invite at a convention, at a game show is kind of what you hope it leads to eventually, right? And getting one getting one feels good. Thank you very much, everybody. Yeah, thank you to S Game Studio once again. Thank you to the people who are helping support this channel. Please tell your friends to like, sub, hit the bell for notifications as well, and leave comments down below. Are you looking forward to Phantom Blade 0, or do you just want to give yourself a pat on the back being like, hey, I'm one of the people who helped you get this invite? Congratulate me, you bastard. Do all that good stuff that I always ask you to do and that you're always kind enough to do. Anyway, thank you for watching this video, and hopefully there's more stuff like this to come. If you liked watching our gameplay demo with my ranty, unscripted commentary, you might actually even more enjoy the developer playing the hardest mode of Phantom Blade 0, which I'm also going to upload on this channel as well. That is them playing it at the hardest mode, and they actually understand how the game works, so they really just highlight how cool this game is. So please check that one out too. Anyway, thank you for watching the video. Please like, sub, hit the bell for notifications, leave comments down below about this game and more, and be sure to check out the video of the hardcore, extreme, hardest difficulty, whatever it's going to be called, and keep it locked to this channel for some TGS coverage as well, because I'm going to be uploading a TGS video as well very soon. Good night, good game, thank you so much, and I hope to see you again next time.